Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Decked Up. That's right. I had to stop myself because I already rebranded. Yeah, you're gonna notice a lot of things if you're watching the video version of this on Spotify or YouTube that we did. I'm in a different area. It's because I'm back in my recording room and I finally got to set everything up and it's looking pretty good in my opinion. So, anyways, it's not the only thing. The other thing is if you guys are used to like certain, like the logo looking a certain way or the intro being a certain way, it has changed. It's because I've completely rebranded, and I know I talked about this before in another decked up episode, but I was talking about rebranding the whole show because I don't want to be in a position and again, this is not a knock at anyone else, but I don't want to be in a position where I am only able, and I need to go ahead and put this Apple Watch on silent, but I don't want to be in a position where, what did I do? I don't want to be in a position where like the only thing I can do is just talk about Steam Deck. And then like when there's no news, I gotta do like, so many others are doing by like making anything into something, you know, in a way. I'm gonna put this a certain way, take it how you want. But I'm not trying to turn shit into sugar the way a lot of folks are, because there's not a whole lot to talk about. If I'm being completely honest, as far as like Steam Deck stuff, it's like we've done to death the docks, we've done to death, all these different accessories, you know. It's just there's not a lot to talk about other than like stuff officially from Steam, themselves, but or Valve rather. But aside from that, the only other thing you could do is just take other topics that are unrelated and try to find a way to make content. And that is essentially the job of us content creators, is being able to do that. And like I get it, but at the same time I'm kind of like it's a situation where I just feel like I don't want to just talk about stuff that is the Steam Deck. That was starting to get boring to me. It's like I love the device. It's great, one of my favorite gaming handheld devices of all time. But I can't just have that be the only thing I talk about, if that makes any sense. So, being able to find other things to talk about, other passions within tech and gaming, being able to showcase it here on this show, as well as being able to get people from the gaming industry and other content creators on to talk. That's something that I think is more than just turn shit into sugar, or trying to, and that leads to, I know a lot of people probably, are not going to. I keep looking at my watch and it's like, it's that time. It's that time at night when friggin' Wario 64 just starts going crazy with the constant posting. I'm over here like, yo, is any deals I'm missing? No, anyways. So yeah, yeah. So I did the rebranding, right? So we're fully rebranded. It's Decked Up, a gaming and tech podcast, or tech and gaming podcast. Those are interchangeable. You can move them around however you want. But we're here to talk about tech and gaming. So we kept the Decked Up name. We just dropped the Steam Deck podcast. So if you were coming here exclusively for just Steam Deck centered news, you might be a little disappointed. You might get mad. You might stop watching. Or if you just, as we get thousands of downloads a week per episode, you might just be coming back because you enjoy what we talk about in the show. So I want to go ahead and talk about the main thing I want to talk about here today. And I don't think this may not be a very long episode, but this goes back into the whole topic of turning shit to sugar, and it's the thing that I'm seeing a lot. And this is not just Steam Deck YouTubers or anything like that, or creators. This is also something I'm seeing from folks in a whole, as a whole across the spectrum. People that have looked at the Project Q, which was the handheld device that Sony is making, which allows you to remote play. And then there's other things with it too. We're possibly going to be getting like, cloud gaming and maybe some other stuff with that as well. I'm kind of like waiting for more information before I go out and bash it. And I know a lot of people have been doing nothing but that. It's just bashing and bashing and bashing this device. And okay, let me target it this next part a little bit. So if we go over to the traditional YouTubers out here in gaming space, they're over here like PlayStation made something nobody wants. Nobody's going to buy this device. Who asked for this? This is stupid. Why are they doing this? Why didn't they just give us, a portable PlayStation? Well, here's the thing. When these companies do market research before they start making a device, they do try to see, and this is not me being, a PlayStation apologist or a fanboy because I'm a PlayStation partner, I'm wearing a PlayStation shirt. I'm saying this because I've been on the R&D side of things before, especially within the tech industry. And I understand, when they're doing their research, there's a market for it. It may not be the American market. It may be, like many other things, catered to Japan because Sony is a Japan company or Japanese company. So it may be catering to them. It may be catering to the Asian market in general, which likes this type of device, the Switch, Steam Deck, 3DS, Vita, Pocket PCs. It may be for them. I can't say it's a stupid idea because I'm not sitting in on any of these board meetings with any of these executives or any of the R&D team to say this is a bad idea. It's we don't know. There's not enough information out there. Now, is it something that I think any of you should go out and get? Honestly, that really comes up to you. Like, if this is something you are going to pick up. For me personally, I will pick it up. I highly doubt that PlayStation will send me that. Like, they did send me the DualSense Edge controller. They didn't send me the PSVR 2. That's something I got myself. But I'm going to pick it up. And mainly because there's rarely times where I can actually sit and just play my PlayStation. And I know the counter argument to this device has been, oh, you can just get the Steam, why would you get this when you can just get a Steam Deck? Now, I'm going to hold off a little bit. Remember that comment, because I'm going to come back to that, because I kind of want to dissect that a bit and then blow it up. But we're gonna go to another. So there's that. The other statement is, why not just use your phone and remote play, or your Vita and remote play? Why would you buy this device specifically for this? Now, okay. For me personally, I'm going to get it. And the reason I'm going to get it, one, I'm a tech head. Any new tech that comes out excites me, good or bad. I just want to get my hands on it. I'm a tech enthusiast. It's new, Secondly, people that are saying that this is stupid and it doesn't serve a purpose. I'm trying to figure out because I took my glasses off and I'm blind as a bat right now. But anyways, I don't know where my controller is. I was gonna give an example. Oh, you know what? I'll just use this controller over here, the Helios controller. All right, so let's look at the Project Q, right? So everyone's like, oh, it looks like this is just cut in half and they put a screen between it. They did. That's effectively what they did. Now, to write that off, y'all got to remember the DualSense has, the haptic feedback and things built into it that are not available on any other controller. The fact that this is going to be available, I forgot the specific names of it, but the fact that that's going to be available with this handheld is going to mean that that's exclusive to that device. And that's cool. So if you're playing games that take advantage of the DualSense functionality, like Horizon, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, The Last of Us, Call of Duty. Basically, all the major AAA games take advantage of the features that are on this controller, the DualSense. And so, because of that, this device is going to be different than if you were to just mount the controller or mount your phone on a controller and did it that way. Secondly, remote play functionality on PlayStation. I mean, there's, Shiaki, you can use that on your Steam Deck or on your mobile phone. There's also, if you get the Backbone controller, you can utilize, if you get a PlayStation specific one, you can do remote play that way. Now, those are great options, but what if you don't want to use your phone? Which is where I'm at. I don't even really like using my phone for mobile gaming because there are times when, I'm waiting on an email or I'm expecting a phone call or a text or, I got to do some type of business, and mobile games drain your battery really quickly. Like, I don't have a dedicated mobile gaming device like the Razer Edge or Logitech G Cloud or the Absolute or anything like that. So, if I had that, great. I don't have that, and I have to use my phone, and I don't like to use my phone for that. So, if I had this device in which I'm going to pick it up, my use cases for this device are going to be to play my PlayStation games when I have my toddler, which is almost 24/7, except for this weekend because wife and daughter are off island. But for the most part, I have to use my PlayStation or the functionality on the smart TV or the Xbox Series X and S that are out there in the living room and here in the bedroom. I have to utilize those to play the kids' TV shows for my toddler, or when my teenagers, if they want to watch something, then they're going to be using that. So my PlayStation, as well as my Xbox, my Switch, are often relegated to just being media players. And the only times I really get to like dive in and play a game is typically like now when nobody's home and, or they're off somewhere else, or super late at night, which I really can't do anymore because my toddler gets up, God, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So I can't stay up late playing games anymore. So for me, while they're watching their shows, I can be doing that. Now you would say, oh, you could just do Shiaki on the Steam Deck and get the same result. Yeah, I could. I could. I don't want to. That's just the thing. It's like, I don't want to. This is a device that's specifically made for this functionality. I don't want to use my phone and do that. So maybe I'm in the minority of people, but I want this device. Now, I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, just copy the Wii U, PlayStation. Okay, all these companies copy each other. And the interest in mobile gaming is higher now than it's ever been before. So whatever PlayStation decides to do ultimately with this, it doesn't bother me. I'm going to pick it up. If it fails, oh, okay, well, I still got a dedicated device. 1080p screen, 60 hertz. I believe it's going to be 60 hertz. I got the haptic triggers, haptic feedback from the thing. I'm perfectly fine with it. It everything okay. Everything doesn't have to be specifically made for you. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's a bad idea. Doesn't mean it's a bad product. It's just not for you. Now, that thought I told you to hold on to earlier, where we had, folks saying, why buy this? Just get a Steam Deck. Yeah, you have a lot of Steam Deck content creators that are going out of their way to attack this device and use it as a way to say, oh, just buy a Steam Deck. Now, this is me dissecting it. So, as many of you who have been listening and watching the show know, I'm not the biggest fan of Steam Deck content creators at all. I don't hate any of them. I think a lot of shit a lot of them say is very stupid, and it's very clickbaity and very elitist, which has turned me off from the Steam Deck community and creators. I don't watch anyone anymore. Like, when Project Q was announced, just seeing the anger at Sony, like, this is so stupid, how dare they, blah blah, or this is a Steam Deck competitor. Who the fuck said it was a Steam Deck competitor? It's not. It's not trying to compete with the Steam Deck. And that goes to be my problem with Steam Deck creators. Anything that comes out, there's a level of them coming off like they are threatened that well, this is competing with the Steam Deck. Oh, oh. And then there's the elitism of, oh, you should just don't buy a Switch, just get a Steam Deck. Don't buy this, just get a Steam Deck. Don't do this, just get a Steam Deck. It's not a one size fits all type of situation. And it's that elitism, that mentality, which is a problem in with fanboys in general. It's a problem with PC master race folks, and it's a problem with console elites too. I don't care for that that conversation. I don't care for that fear mongering and the anger and the outrage over a device that you don't have to fucking buy. You don't like it, don't get it. That's where they lose me. And I understand the Steam Deck for a lot of these people has been their bread and butter, their meal ticket. It has boosted them to a point where they are working with big company, D brand, all these other fucking companies and all this other stuff. I'm not hating on anybody that is doing their hustle, making their money, getting out what they need to get out. But where I have a problem with is when everything that comes out, you're threatened by it. Everything that comes out, you got to slant it a certain way to make the Steam Deck the fucking Buddha or the Jesus, Like, I don't like that, which is why I can't stand a lot of these people. I know I've had a lot of them on my podcast here, and maybe one out of all of them that I've had on that are creators, Steam Deck creators, that I like. I just, so many of them, man, I just don't care for. I don't. And it's not just the Steam Deck folks. It's just content creators in general. Like, I've just gotten to a point I don't care. Like, when it comes to this elitism and the way folks are acting, I don't care about it. So that led to me rebranding. I just wanted to move away from it and just get back to what I enjoy, just tech and gaming. But anyways, this device coming out, if it's something that piqued your interest, pick it up. If you don't like it, don't get it. It's the same thing with the ROG Ally. People have said to me that, oh, you jump ship from the Steam Deck to ROG Ally. No, the ROG Ally is something that has interested me since I first saw it. And I was like, yeah, I really like this, and it's just the versatility of it. Now, again, running Windows, you're going to run into a lot of issues with that you're not going to on something running SteamOS. However, that allows you to not have to deal with having to jump through all the hoops and all the other shit that you have to with the Steam Deck. And let's be honest. Now, you want to play something that's not on Steam, you got to do certain things to get that set up. Now, I can deal with that, but sometimes it's a fucking pain. Having to jump through this hoop, that hoop, this hoop to get this working, find a patch to get this to work. Oh, because this doesn't support, Linux. I gotta find, a Proton, or just when you run around chasing a toddler all day, and you finally get a chance to sit down and play something, and then you got to actually sit and tinker, you're not going to want to deal with that. Or if you're someone who just wants to pick up and start playing games in their PC library, be it Steam, Epic Game Store, Blizzard, wherever, GOG, and You don't want to have to go through trying to do all this stuff through desktop mode to get it to go and play in game mode. The ROG Ally is a good alternative. The AOK Zoe and all these other GPD 4 Win and all these other devices are good alternatives. Not everyone wants to jump through the hoop. And I feel like nobody wants to have that conversation. Everyone just wants to like prop up this device. Like, oh, it's so frustrating sometimes. It is so frustrating to me because I'm like, it's just a piece of plastic like everything else. Anyways. Oh man, that just I'm sorry, like that just gets to a point where I'm just so annoyed with a lot of the stuff I see. And I've had to like really curate my YouTube and my Twitter. Like I've muted all the Steam Deck folks, muted all of them. Majority of gaming content creators as a whole, I've muted just because I don't want to see that clog up my YouTube or my Twitter feed or my Instagram feed. I don't want to see that shit. I just don't. I don't. There's certain ones like certain gaming creators I love watching. Um, but a lot of the folks, no. Especially when it's like an echo chamber. No, I don't care for that. But yeah, that's I think that's mainly the main topic I wanted to dive on because a lot of you have noticed the change with like the look of the show, the branding, the naming, and all that. I want to talk about that, plus talk about the Project Q, and give my thoughts on that. The earbuds, though, I'm looking forward to those. Now they might send me that, but maybe as I continue to grow, which this channel, the YouTube channel is growing too. I've had people say, "Oh, my channel's not growing." I'm like, "Yo, have you seen it?" The last time we did an episode, we was at 20,000 subscribers. Now we're at 22,000 and going onwards to 23. I'm hoping in the next month and a half or so we hit 30,000 and we just keep going. I want to end this year at potentially 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then, our TikTok is growing too. If you haven't caught us, we stream regularly over on TikTok. We're over 3,000 followers there too. So, and as far as like active listeners for this podcast, it's actually crazy. Like, this is the number one tech and gaming podcast in Hawaii. That's crazy, right? Um, yeah. So thank y'all for helping make that possible. And other than that, if you guys are interested, and this is more of a question I'd like to get, your guys' opinion on, would you like me to go back to having Decked Up be a live podcast? Like, would you guys like to have this live stream sometime? And if you would, let me know. And other than that, I got nothing else. If you guys enjoy the show, regardless of where you're listening to it, if you're listening to it on, Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora Radio, iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening to it, or if you're watching in video format, give us some feedback. Tell us what you think. And yeah. Biggest thing too, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating. I need ratings over there. I got one rating, and the person's mad at me because they're like, "Oh, they changed their format." Shows evolve over time, but leave some ratings. If you guys enjoyed the show, and if you're watching video format, like it, share it around, comment, and all that good stuff. So outside of that, I will be signing out. Hope y'all have a blessed and aloha rest of your day. Stay safe, and yeah, I'll see you around. Peace.